Welcome to Plan B Terraform. My name is Nilaus and this is a first look video of this game. Plan B Terraform is an indie game in early access released on Steam the 15th of February. So that's yesterday if you're watching it right now. So it is still in very early access and it's a small development team. So keep this in mind. So what is Plan B Terraform? Well, according to the Steam description, it says terraform a lifeless rock into a lush and habitable world. Build trucks, trains, and sprawling factories on an enormous hexagonal planet. Grow its population to millions. Enjoy a dynamic simulation of atmosphere, temperature, water, and forests. Now, I should say that the planet is not hexagonal, but it's built on a hexagonal grid, which I think is really nice. If I am to add a little more detail to the description, I'd say the Plan B Terraform is a stripped down version of many logistics and terraforming games. A lot of the fluff has been stripped away to focus on the core mechanics of supply chain and terraforming. And this is a good thing when designing for scale, and I believe that's where this game will truly excel. The fact that you have an entire planet to work on, and it is a huge logistical challenge to move things around, even though there is a limited number of resources to move and the limited number of machines to work with. Then the complexity comes from managing the scale of it. These first look videos aim at showcasing the gameplay and highlighting strengths and weaknesses to help you determine whether this is a game for you, and also whether this is a game you'd like to see more of on my channel, either on YouTube, on Twitch. So let me know by interacting with the video, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. These videos are only possible thanks to the support on Patreon from the community. So thank you very much for supporting the channel and the work I do here. If you should feel compelled to help out, then there's a link in the description below. Thank you for considering. Let's dive into a new game. You've been mandated to manage the resources on the newly discovered planet. You must bring supplies to the cities and manage terraforming projects. Good luck. So we are starting up on our first game, landing on this planet. This is our planet. There are many like it, but this one is ours particularly, and we land at this location. So what we have is 3 locations here. We have 3 cities. New Lima, New Hangzhou, and New Dongzhong. Yeah, we'll take New Lima. That's the one we're going to be settling in here. Okay, we start with a little bit of a tutorial just to get things around. We zoom out with mouse wheel all the way out. We can go from the planetary view here and look around, and we can go all the way into sort of the normal view, which is there. And that is basically how it works. So we need to select some iron. We can go up here to the view here. We can see the different resources. This is iron, this is sulfur, this is fluoride, and this is aluminium. Those are the resources currently in the game at this moment. We have our heads up display here in our population is 9. 3 have landed in each site. Our temperature is a nice chilly minus 58.1 degrees Celsius. That is a little bit chilly. This is 0 of 10. This is the milestone on for the work progress towards our milestone. We have a build menu to the left, which is very unorthodox. Usually build menu is all there at the bottom, but I like it on the side because then you take the white width of the screen. All right, so we select some iron. That's actually a really bad location. Let's figure out which one we want to start with. This might actually be better here. Unfortunately, we can't rename the cities. Let's hope it comes later. Let's take some iron. We go all the way in and we select some iron. There we go. And we go on to the next one. There we go. Build an extractor over an iron deposit. So we have extractors here. These are, when they're built, they just go into sort of a global inventory. So we have some extractors, we have some factories, we have some assembly plants, and we have some depots. So I want to just build some things here. Let's build 3 of these and put them into a depot. Now it works in the sense that you have an extractor, they will be loading out, or they'll be, when they mine, they will be just leaving a little box next to it. You can see they produce 15 per cycle per year. And there is one little drone attached to a depot that will then take care of, as you can see here, go in, grab it in here and stack it up in this location. So they'll be connected. Now build a factory and place it on the ground next to the depot. To build the factory next to the depot, let's actually build you a little bit over here. And then we select the recipe. That is a steel bar recipe. Okay, so this will now be taking the iron in and making 3 iron in to make steel bar. So 3 iron in is, it makes, one of these makes, let's see, how much is it? It makes 30 per cycle, but it needs 3 times as much, so it needs 90 iron per cycle. Each of these producing 15, so this is 45, and that means we're going to have to get like a little bit more over here if we want to get this fully utilized. We are not going to get it fully utilized, so we'll just get it somewhat utilized. There we go. So this is now 75 input, and in here, and that will keep it running most of the time. And then we build a depot for the output of the steel bars, and all this will now be automated. They will just fluff around here, and this is kind of this is the very core of the game, is that you have extractors. They put into depots, put into factories, put into depots, put into assemblers as well. And then we get an assembly plant that will be taking the stuff from here, getting that. We can now make more extractors, for example, or we can get another one and make that into depots as well. These are both requiring steel bars, so now the steel bars will have to be split between these things, making more depots and making more assemblers. And these will self-balance between all of them. They will be focusing on stuff in the first rank and then second rank once we get that. Then we can open the help screen. This is actually a really useful overlay here, that we can see how we can build things. All this stuff, and then we get into trains and vehicles, which we will come back to later on. Place 10 extractors, build 10 extractors and place them on the ground. Then extractors are necessary, but so are the depots as well. We've already built 5 of the 10, so we'll need to build a few more of these. I try to avoid, well, do I? Here, 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 maybe. And we'll build a little output over on this side. And then we'll see we can make another factory out here. Oops, this factory will be focused on steel production. That's the only thing we have. I'll be killing this, I guess. And when you destroy things, then you get the full refund. So that's pretty neat. And we'll get it into a box with steel bars, and then get another assembly plant attached to this, which will now make depots. And we can then fit in a few more here. So this is now, we're now up to 8. And then we have this location making depots, and this here location, which has a little more input, will be making extractors here. And we get another extractor. Now we have 9 total extractors available, and once we build one more, we don't even know where to build it, but we can build it here, and then just use, come on, build an extractor for us. Oh, it's just waiting for resources. This is not continuously working because it only gets 75 in and can use 90 here, so that's pretty good. We'll just go up a little bit faster so we can get that completed. And we get, there we go, one more extractor. That completes our goal. And I'm going to put that here. Oh, I missed it. This will now be, there are 6 here inbound. That's great. Let's shift it down here. And let's look at the rest of the, the milestone. Here's the milestone. We hit a milestone. Build 5 factories and place them on the ground. Use the factory to transform steel into mechanical parts. So now we also need mechanical parts as well. And we need to continue to work. These little production lines will just keep going. I don't need to build them here. But now we need some mechanical parts in order to make assembly plants and factories. So we probably want to make one of these we need to take out when we get ready for it. Let's actually score up the speed just a little bit more so we can get a sense of this. I don't want to take out this one, but I might utilize this for building the next step. So what if we had another here that would make mechanical parts out of the steel, and then that would be mechanical parts. And then this one, if I change this from making depots to making assembly plants, then it would actually be getting it from here. Now we will now no longer be making assembly plants. That's kind of unfortunate, but that's here, 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 and that one. Oops. We can middle mouse button and then superimpose it. I can take here. Okay, the good thing about this is how easy it is to remove things around. And yeah, you kind of you lose your materials. That's fine, but it's not that big of a deal. This is not making mechanical parts, you're making steel bars, and you can see there's a little line connecting it. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 7. Yeah, 7. So this is actually overstacking this factory. That's okay. And it'll go in here. This will be making, all this is 30 steel, and 30 steel becomes 30 mechanical parts, which goes in and makes assemblers for us. Great. Let's make another assembly plant here that will take care of making more factories. And you can see as they pop up, they just go into our global inventory and they won't ever stop. They won't ever stop. That's a good thing. This here is just dedicated exclusively to making assemblers, but we still need a few more. So I think I want to make another production line dedicated to to depots. I think maybe even a shared one. We are also going to see now that we actually have a let's see. Where do I want it? Like, ideally you want some places like this where you can easily just get 3 or something like that, but won't always be possible. You can also just do, oops, we now have no production here available, so I'm gonna have to make, no, that's a factory, sorry, and I'm gonna make some there. We are not making any more depots. That's kind of problematic. So we're getting all the stuff now, kind of, and now we can make a factory. At this point I just want to see if we can get it. And so we continue out on this side. Oops, building more, building a depot here, and then that won't be reaching in here. That's okay, but we do need to make one more factory, even though we don't need another factory. So they will now be self-balancing between these two and then be pulled in here. So after this, we are going to need to get an output, and that will be steel bars. Steel bars will now be built into one assembler here for a depot, and I'm going to make another one here that will also be making, oops, this will just be going out, and there. So this will be 50-50 split between depots and excavators, because we need more excavators, and this one will be dedicated 100% to excavators. We kind of need one more thing in here, just one more factory. Ironically, this is a yeah, this kind of needs one more factory. I think I'll just make it, and let's see, that one goes here, and then I can build it here. Ta-da! We got it. Build a supply center in contact with the city. Bring it the resources required so that the city grows. Now we can make concrete, roads, road stops, trucks, and supply center. Things are scaling up here for sure. And we'll just lower the speed again. Now at this point, if we just look at all of these things here, they will be feeding into these little locations. This here will be overfilling, but hopefully that can feed into both. This should be making a lot more than what we can do, so we can put in another one here. If these two are running all the time, they're not quite, then these two should be running all the time, and then these two here, the assembly plants and the factories, will be continuously running. We just always want to keep in touch of this to see if we have enough. Now we have to go somewhere else to look at supply center, which comes from concrete, and roads also come from concrete, so we need to kind of set the same thing up. Now this one is chugging along, it'll work until it runs out of materials, so we'll just leave it here. Now let's have a look at a sulfur location. Sulfur is used it's the way we make concrete. Very simple process, but it's gonna work for now. So here, this is a depot of sulfur. So now we're getting sulfur in here, and I could say, I really don't like sort of placing depots on top of them, but it might, oops, it might be okay. Here, there. So that's definitely enough, and we need a factory in here making concrete. Let's have a look at the ratios. This is making 30, so it needs 90, and I am providing 105 in here because there are 7. And I'll need another depot. You can see we're not, I wouldn't say we're slowly using it. We are very quickly using this. And what is it we want to make? Well, we need to have some assembly plants to make the supply center. Those, we do not make many supply centers. We actually only need 3 of them, because there are only 3 cities, and you need 1 for every city. So once you have 3, just take it out, and then we'll switch this to something else. We do need a lot of roads, by the way, so that's definitely a thing. Once we have 1 of these, we should be good. And let's see, we want to build another thing if we have it. Yes, we do have enough to make another build here, I suppose. Here. This is not great, but maybe we can go something like this. Oh, I don't have any more. What? No depots. Damn. How many do we get? We got 1. That's all we need right now, but we'll keep those working, so we have 2 of those, and then we switch this over to make roads, which we need a lot of, and road stops that we also need quite a lot of. The one more thing we need is also Let's see, where are we at? Okay, let's get some mechanical parts. This is making into concrete. Just trying to figure out if here, concrete. And why are we not making any depots? Weird. This one's okay, this one is okay. We just made a depot here. Obviously because this is not keeping up. This is not getting enough inbound here. I could do something like this. That really wouldn't make a difference, would it? No, it wouldn't. Not significant. We'll keep it like this, but we do need more of everything. Over here, we have one more thing we want to build, and that is trucks, mechanical parts too. So this is going to be definitely going to be strained in terms of having too many things relying on this part, but it'll be fine for now. We'll get it a little bit later. All right, over here I got the concrete. We need the concrete to be. We already have this, so go away. There, we have 3 of these that we will never ever need more. So go back, build an assembly plant here. This assembly plant will be making roads. We need a lot of roads. This one will also be making roads, and this one is just kind of useless. Oh well. Here is concrete. That will now unload here. Then I'm gonna go. This one will be exclusively for... Yeah, let's do that. And we need another sequence here. So now this is also going in here. Okay, so that's now making those depots, man. Those depots are kind of not keeping up because we need quite a lot of depots. So maybe I want to just make this into 2 depot makers at this point. Also, hold on. This is... Why is this overscaling? You should be able to keep up with this. Oh well. Let's get some more depots, and it's not gonna make a difference. Just trying to see if there was any way that I could sort of get more materials in here, like easily. Not really. Not really. It's in the beginning, things are slow, but we just needed to sort of continue working. For example, here we're starting to stack up on this part. So I need another output that will be outputting the concrete. Yes, and that will go into a location that just makes road stuff. Road stuff, road, and road. That's all we need at this point. Now, let's find our city. Where are you? Here you are. Now, this is saying build a supply depot next to it. Then we can click on it and see, what do you need? You need concrete and nothing else right now. So now we can make a road stop and some roads. First things to first though, we need to make a depot. I'm going to make this depot here, and that's going to be concrete. We do have a concrete build up here, but all this concrete is already reserved. So let's try and get some new concrete build that is exclusively for the build here. Let's see, that one. Yeah, that's it, good. But we are really lacking on depots. So we need to get more depots in order to get this working. We also need here, we got one of... Oh, I lost my city here. Now this needs to go in, and this roundabout is basically a truck stop. And then I can drag it all the way up here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good, actually. Maybe something like this. And this is concrete. We got one more sulfur, and that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 2 factories. 2 concrete factories here, and then 1 output more. And once they have that output, then I suppose that would be a fine place. And this would be better. And then I can remove this line. So now we have a full line. Once we have one more depot, then we are... There we go. All right, so that's a concrete depot. So now we have concrete or sulfur going in here, getting converted into concrete. Concrete stacked up here. Get this one, and now this road up. The way you work, this is a origin and a destination. So this is the origin. So you say, hey, if this is the origin, select the destination. It took me way too long to figure this out, but it's intuitive enough once you understand it, like so many other things. So now we set up a transport line. A transport line, whether that's a train or a truck transport line, has one one pickup location and one delivery location. You can't have multiple, you can't do anything like that, but you can have many trucks here. So we've already been building some trucks, so let's send 5 trucks on the path down here. You can see the trucks are coming in, they are being loaded from the depot, and we can even send some more because we have them, why not? And they will now be filling up, and the trucks will follow the path all the way down to this location where they will be unloaded from this part into here. Let's just speed up so that we get them in here. There, here they come. Boop. And we now see the demand here is, it needs, we don't know how much it needs. Well, actually we can click here and see how much it needs. No, we can't. I thought you could. Annual supply. All right, annual supply is 10, and this production line is providing 29. So there's no problem at all to fulfill this. And while we're at it, we'll just continue to make more trucks as we continue. And you will now see this city has city population of 3. There's 3 in each city, and we now have a first functional supply line going from a depot going in here, and this will gradually increase. Once it sort of flows up, I think we'll see a little growth, and then maybe they'll be making a little house, extra house somewhere. Nope, no growth yet. But now you can see that the supply is good, 100%, and it's at that point it's starting to grow. While it's growing, and that will just take a little bit of time, it is logical for us to go back up here, use some of our resources that we've now created to sort of build things a little bit bigger. Like this one, I don't really like having this part split into so many things that are all highly valuable, although you can say 11, 15, and we don't know about the trucks, but maybe that's actually okay. I am a little bit worried about having enough here. That's kind of, yeah, there's always going to be more. We always want more. That's kind of how it goes with all kind of these things, all right? So we can always just do this and then unfortunately it has to be several stops. Yeah, so these 3, or basically 2.5, because this can fill into both, could also be making, what could it also be making? We could just make a little metal part here, or we could have this be like, luckily things are incredibly easy to delete if you don't like the build. And then that one was completely useless. It's these 3. Yeah, we'll get these 3. Get it into here. That's going to be making steel bars, and get that to another location, and those steel bars go here, and that will make, you know, just another one of these. We need more excavators. That should be good. It's not going to be amazing, but it'll just be a little bit. We are also seeing a little bit of growth in the city, and everything else just looks just fine. So at this point, we'll just let it trickle along until we see the growth. We can see that it builds randomly these buildings around, and that'll sort of be how it works. So let's wait for our city to grow. There we go. We managed to get our supplies up. Now we get more stuff. We get aluminium bars, we get carbon, we get oxygen, we get atmospheric extractor, we get a landmark tower. And now we need to reach a population of 100 in our biggest city, and that will sort of be the objective we want to go for in this first episode. And I hope that you want to see more, because I would love to continue to do more in this game, especially in a game like this where the early game looks so simple, and we all know that that's going to be changing as it gets bigger. But 100 population in the first city seems good. We can now see that they require oxygen here as a supply. This is very interesting. We will need a atmospheric extractor, which requires mechanical parts and aluminium bars. So we need to scroll out and see where we have aluminium nearby. Nowhere really nearby, but we have it up here. So we're going to need to set up an aluminium production, and we're going to combine this with some mechanical parts production in order to make these atmospheric extractors. So that should be a nice little challenge here. In the meantime, these have been accruing, which is nice, so we can actually get some setup here. That seems like a good starting. Definitely not concrete. This will be definitely aluminium ore. Go. So we get aluminium ore that will need to be put into factories here. That will make aluminium factories. How much does this take? This takes 2 aluminium ore, 30, so it needs 60. This is 30, and this is 60, and this is 60 as well, and this one shared. So basically we need 2 of these, and we need an output like that. That's aluminium bars. Great. So that is basically all we need in terms of aluminium bars for now. We will need 20 and 165. Great. That's going to be a location where they can be dropping off. And that needs to be combined with some kind of iron build here. We try to make this, right? Yeah, let's try and make this one over here. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but we'll get it. That one is iron, and that one is iron. And is it enough iron though? By the way, what's really important is that we will get soon we'll get Mark II that have longer reach, Mark II depots that have 2 drones and also longer range. That makes a gigantic difference, but not just yet. Well, first we are going to get the iron bars at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's only barely enough to support 1. Well, we'll get this. This will give us 30. If we look at the production for a atmospheric extractor, we don't need that many of these. It needs 20, 12 times 3, that is 36. So it'll be fine here. And we need to make more factories here for the mechanical parts and the mechanical parts, and then a output for mechanical parts. They are manufactured products, and then we need to make a location. And do we drag one to the other or the other to the first one? I don't know. Let's drag the lower quantity to the higher quantity. So we drag this. The hexagonal planet. And okay, so when we have this, I don't actually need this here. I am just going to say we are going to make an assembly plant here. That'll make atmospheric things. And this will be a unloading of aluminium bars, unloading in this location. Oh no, that's below ground. Anyway. Oh, that's interesting. What? Oh, that might be like... What? Why do we do this? Maybe that's kind of like in Dyson Sphere fault line. Tropics, because I don't know how that would work on... Okay, so this is a truck line. This is a destination, so we need to point to the origin. This is the origin, and they will be transporting aluminium bars. We are going to set... That's going to be 5. Oof, maximum rate. That is really slow, but that's also a really long path over there. But it will get it eventually. And then we'll get our assembly plants here. So once we get the aluminium bars, ooh, that's a little bit of a kink in the road, kink in the path. And they are now coming in. They are producing enough, but it is really the lack of trucks that I find your lack of trucks disturbing. But that's fine. We'll just throw more trucks. It's not like exactly like pollution on a planet like this is a bad idea. It's quite actually a good idea to get that. So what we do now is wait for the assembly plants to be produced. We need to produce a lot of those, and then we also need to find our city. This city will be having a supply center, and I can just get those stuff done in the meantime. I'm going to supply this with oxygen here. Now we can do it in 2 different ways. We can just set it up around here because it's easy, but I am going to plan a little bit for the future by just making a location here and then just grabbing it, I don't know, some random distance away from the city, and then bringing it in at this location there. And we will have, this will be the big oxygen depot. And do we have any of these? No. So we need to get that in here as soon as possible. Let's see if we do we have any trucks now? Yes, we have the trucks, and we have this. The only thing I'm just wondering about is whether I am... Okay, this is requiring 12, and this line is supporting 18. So as long as this keeps going, then we should be getting enough to keep this flowing at all times. If we look at it, yes, we have 3 stacked up on the inside. This will consume pretty much all there is here. So if we have this, it should be fine. And now we can go to our little oxygen location. Here is the thing with the oxygen, and this is a trick. It's a pretty damn neat trick, by the way. If you look at this, this produces carbon and oxygen. And initially I was like, oh no, I need to get rid of the carbon because the carbon can be used for, must be used for something else. But at this point, carbon is just a waste product. And then you just need to build up depots with storage and storage and storage. But the thing is, in this game, it doesn't care. If the carbon is stockpiling and it can't get out, it won't block the production of oxygen. Thank you for that. That is really, really neat. So that means we can actually just ignore the fact that it has carbon as an output, because you can see the carbon stacks up here. When it stacks up to, I think it can stack up 2 on the output side here. Let's see. Stacks up 2. No, that's actually 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the next one, now it goes full. And we can see that even though it's full, it doesn't bother with the production of oxygen. Oxygen just still works. And we can now continue building this part. So this is the origin, and then we need point at the destination here. We transport oxygen. And do we have any trucks to build there? Sure, we can transport 24, 29, 35. How much do we transport here? 29. Okay, let's just dump this down to 29. This here is a demand of 10. 10 corresponds to the city size, I'd say. And we now have a supply in here. As we start the supply, we can see that our supply, it's limited at 67. That means it's not really growing. Let's see here, it was status is stable at 83, but once it goes up to 100% supply, by the way, that rattling sound could be, that's a bit weird that it's so rattly. You should be, there we go, now it's green. It turns green when it's good, that means it's growing, and from here on, we just need to see it grow to 100. That's pretty damn simple, and that's all we need to hit the next milestone. In the meantime, there isn't really a whole lot of other things we want to do. We don't have anything new, so it's just doing that. What we can do is build the whole damn thing again at one of the other locations and just start to set up. But what my plan is that I'll make this, this is our starter city, so this will be sort of the most simple one. And then when we get to the next one, we'll start doing that when we get to trains, because that's also something. So at this point, we just need to see our little city grow into prosperity, and yeah, just see how that goes. There we go. We managed to hit this level 10. That was actually quite rapidly we hit this. Now, Depot MK2 drones have a range of 2 hexagons. That is ungodly big improvement. So we get now polymer bars, which needs carbon, which was the waste product that we completely ignored from our previous production of oxygen. We need cost plastic waste. What? Plastic waste? Oh, right. It just, yeah, okay. Cost plastic waste? What the hell? Oh, right. That's kind of, I think that's later on. That's not something I recognize, but aluminium and polymer bars. So we need to make polymer bars, and polymer bars comes from carbon. That's excellent. We need to make reinforced concrete, because if we go back to our city, where might you be? Where is the city? It's down here. Look, it has grown. If we look at the city, it's now no longer requiring concrete. It's requiring reinforced concrete. That means we need to take the concrete and combine it with steel in order to make it into reinforced concrete. So we now have some more difficult production chains. We need reinforced concrete, we need polymer bars, we need high-tech components as well, and we can then get the better depots. That was going to be super exciting, and that will be something I'm going to dive into in the next episode, because I want there to be a next episode. Now, I'm not going to hold you hostage, but of course I'm going to be looking at the views and engagement and whether you think this is interesting. I know this seems like a very rudimentary system right now with just a whole mess of spaghetti, but as we progress and get into trains and the Mark II depots, then I guarantee you that we can set up some really cool designs that will be like sort of more Factorio-esque, and instead of this one, which is just like mining into a box and then go to the next step. So it doesn't really, the game doesn't really show itself from its best side yet, though I am really liking how easy it is. Like, you just click and it just plays it instantly. There's no waiting for workers to get there or getting materials. It's just building it, so you can build fast and big, which I really like, of course. So if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comment section if you have other suggestions for other ideas. suggestions for other games that I should try here on the channel, let me know in my Discord. There's a game suggestion channel, and everything listed there will be reviewed by me and picked out and for future Let's Plays and Let's Tries here on the channel. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you particularly to the Patreon supporters supporting the channel. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.